here. Have recommendations.
We are now recording the August 10th, 2018 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Good afternoon, good evening.
So we're going to start with Ernest and his $35 office.
This is good. I like it.
So everybody on this panel today, we're all in our home office.
Correct.
Right?
But what do you do when you just can't get anything done at your home office?
So in Boise, of course, a technology hub, they have a couple of different solutions for that. One that I found is a organization called Trailhead Boise. And there's a lot of similar offices in other cities. I've actually tried 3 or 4 of those in different places, but it's a co-work facility. So Trailhead Boise is literally $35 a month. And for $35 a month, I can go in. There's about 40 different open desks. Open up my laptop and start to work. Free Wi-Fi, free coffee.
Whoa. Did you say free coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
What kind of coffee?
That pays the $35 right there.
I was about to say, if you were at Starbucks, you'd be bankrupt by now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, with the coffee pods being, 65 cents or something like that? Drink a couple of cups of coffee a day. You paid your
There
bill.
you go. Right.
Can you have client meetings there?
Yeah, you can actually reserve space.
Do you have like separate office or conference rooms there?
They do. They have separate spaces that you can kind of reserve and say, hey, I'm going to take this space for the day.
Now, does that cost extra when you want to use a private room?
In some places, yes. Not at Trailhead Boise.
So I have the same kind of setup, and mine's $50 a month. Co-working, it's called Work Together. Not as big as yours, but you can walk in at any time. And I got it because my electric goes out frequently. I had right. Last Tuesday when Seth was doing his cash flow tool thing, it went out. And that particular show, Seth did a shout out to me. Oh, wow, sorry, missed it. I know, right?
You gotta see this. I Googled, you said Trailblazers?
Trailhead.
Oh, I did Trailblazers Boise and I got a daycare center.
Yeah, it doubles as a daycare and a co-working space.
Oh, clearly we need some daycare. Trailheadboise.org is the website.
All right, I found it.
So it's pretty much the same for me too. You get free coffee, but they do additional stuff. They work with businesses around, and there's like a bakery there, so you can order.
Oh no, I can't have it near a bakery. I mean,
I know.
The problem with having the home office is to use the restroom, I have to go to the house. And if I go to the house, there's the refrigerator. So I'm thinking, if I could get back into a situation where I could get out of here, then I wouldn't have the refrigerator problem. But yours has a bakery?
A bakery. And in my last meeting with the client.
You smell it in the office?
Oh, no. You order it in advance. So we have the same kind of thing with the conference table, and it's an enclosed room. It's quiet and private.
Oh, okay.
I had a meeting with a client. I ordered a little tray of bakery things to pick on.
Nice.
So
I've done the whole gamut. When I first bought the small business division I was the director of accounting services at a CPA firm. We got bought out by Price Waterhouse, and then 18 months later they dropped my department, so I bought it. So I just packed it all up, went home, and I had a little 2-bedroom house. And so I started off with the home office. And then I got fancy offices downtown. I had all that overhead. And then I kept growing. So I built offices. And then I had, over 3,000 square feet and, the whole gambit. And then I got really tired of that. So I downsized and built this. So this is another 1,000 square feet on my property, but man, I don't want to ever move again. It's a lot of work to set up an office and all that. But I do like the idea. Like what happens is because I don't go anywhere. I don't go anywhere. And then I find out, like once a week, I make a good, run to church, and then I think I have not been in the car or left this building in a week, and that's not healthy. So
Right.
part of me is like, if that's why I was intrigued with Ernest's idea, because if I had a place to go. The other thing is it would be a good emergency place because
What I use mine
I put in a generator because the power goes out all the time. So the generator would kick in, but if Comcast goes down, we're all looking at each other going, do we sit here and I'm seeing dollar signs go by, or do I cut loose and they get out on the highway, and as soon as they get on the highway, the internet's back, So now that we all have laptops, in the case of, there's one main line that comes onto these islands, and if it gets cut, we've got to head to Savannah. So that would be nice to have as an emergency spot.
Yeah.
I can always run to my husband's office, but I wouldn't be able to run in there with 3 or 4 of them.
Right.
Well, it's different.
Yeah.
It's good for an emergency situation,
Mhm.
but it certainly isn't home. I like my equipment at home. I buy my equipment because I'm on it all the time. So I
Right.
know what I want. I know what
Are
I
you ergonomically correct? You've got the keyboards at the proper height.
Right. My passwords are available. This is something that I need to remember to bring with me.
Whoa! Back up. Back up.
I don't use LastPass.
Oh, girlfriend.
I know, but for me, it's safer.
Did I tell you now I have 6 monitors?
Monitor.
Two computers and 6
I can't
monitors.
even get my 3 to work.
So,
There's people at Trailhead Boise that they actually rent lockers so people can come and set their monitors up to the day.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, there's a couple of people. I think it's too high maintenance for me. I'm like, no, I don't know about spending 20 minutes setting up every day, but
right. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
It's all I mean, the idea with this docking station.
Well, it depends on. Mine is small enough that I'm feeling more secure about. I mean, like when I go places, my phone's on me, my electronic devices are on me. I don't leave it on the counter and walk in the other room or go to. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like a pocket office.
Right. Well, there's enough. The people are the only people that are allowed in there are coworkers, so you know who's there. So you feel better about leaving your equipment out. I can leave I can set my phone down and go anywhere in the office and not worry about it.
Yeah.
I don't worry about people taking things. And they also have people that come in there every day and just leave their equipment set up there. And that's their specific station. And then they have other stations for people like me that I'm called on demand. So that just means as I need it, I go there. And there are several stations set up for on demand as well.
Do they ever overbook? I mean, are there
I haven't seen it at this point.
more clients than there are spaces if you had a peak situation where somebody would get bumped off?
Right. No, I have not had that problem.
Mm.
I've not had that problem. They also have like this really huge printer in there, which is really cool. So if I need some serious printing done, I can go there and, do the whole collation, color codes and whatever. Yeah, that's a nice little perk. And they also have a couple permanent offices for people that are there all the time and need
Yeah, I think
privacy.
ours has, 'cause I went to a meeting, it's nice for nonprofits that don't really have an office. And so I went to a meeting with the nonprofit, and I noticed that all along the edge of the building where all the windows were, those were all separate offices with a door. And so you can see people's, stuff in there. So I think some of them are like more permanent, and then some of them.
You can rent for the day or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really great concept, and I want to make 2 quick points. One is, so Trailhead Built Boise has that too. They're $129 a month, but they're really along the lines of incubator. One of the points I wanted to make was, if you're servicing entrepreneurial type businesses, it's a great place to go because you are networking and working alongside those people
Who might need an account.
And that is an added benefit for me, is the community and the things that they do as, a work together group. I feel like I'm part of the work together community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, even though, so one of the reasons I got it was I have a new home here, and until 4 hours ago, I didn't have shutters on the window, and I could barely see my screen. I can see my screen.
The glare, yeah.
Yeah.
But those types of, temporary situations happen in our lives all the time. So having these kinds of, workaround solutions, I think is very useful.
Yep. Yeah, I'm liking mine. I think it's well worth it just for the times that I need to go there. The conference table is really, really nice to have to sit, have clients come in and meet there. No one has to come into my office at home for any reason now at this point.
Right.
Now I've actually had an employee tell me to go work in the treehouse.
Go, pardon me?
Work in the treehouse.
Treehouse.
I have a treehouse. It came with the house.
Oh,
It's a treehouse, and
So there's
yeah.
wireless in the treehouse, huh?
Well, that's right. I wonder how far away it is from the router. But
hopefully it wouldn't disrupt the squirrels, right? They probably camp out there during the winter. Do they
My
camp
dog-
out there during the wintertime?
my dog can get up this ladder, but then she can't get down, so I'll find her like in the treehouse. So.
That's funny. That's
I
hysterical.
don't like carrying a 50-pound dog down down the ladder.
Kind of embarrassed if you fell out down to explain it.
Well, I had a house sitter here one time. We were out of town, and he was freaking out because he couldn't find the dog, and he thought the dog was out. But she didn't really bark, and so she's just sitting up in the tree.
I'm watching him go crazy looking for it.
He's like, Betty, Betty, and she's like. But I don't want her to try to come down and break a leg. So.
Hey, Gina, can I give you a quick demo of TBX?
Sure, absolutely. Would
Oh,
love to. Are we ready for next week in Accountex? I know you got the shirt on, Sarah.
Yes, we're ready. I
That's
made some I'll talk to you later. We're gonna do like shows special, $99. Buy now.
all right. There we go. Awesome. We've got it.
Well, really what I wanted to show a little bit more behind the scenes, if you will, of what actually happens in TBX.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Maybe that'll be useful for some people. So in this example, one of the things that's pretty unique to TBX is we're running a 12 monthly columns by class. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run it. This is just a sample data file back here. But when I run it, one of the things that I've got turned on as an option here is kind of in the developer mode. It's going to go ahead and give me this information. So the current option of not including titles and text allows me to open this in Excel and just quickly get rid of all these other things. just quickly go in and filter data in this table, right? Because by having it like that, it turns it into an immediate table that I can filter through very easily.
I've never opened it that way.
But this is why I added that option, right? Is to be able to, the traditional option, you had the headers and everything. Which is
Right. A guy asked me this morning, he said, well, what does that mean? I'm like, well, it means just what it says, the header.
Yeah. So, I just kind of want to be able to show kind of that feature off, because part of that, right, is now if all you're doing is analyzing data, you can do that obviously quickly, right? You just turn on the filter function and you're good to go.
Where's the filter? Where is the filter? Oh, the filter.
It's under data.
See, I know enough about Excel to get, and then there's so many cool things you can do.
Right?
Oh, check that. Oh.
Nice.
Oh.
Oh,
So if I just want to go find, as an example, all the income accounts,
right.
there they are.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
That is nice.
I'll be darned. That's my own program. I'll be darned.
Didn't you know you could do that?
Well, see, I'm not a Power Excel user, so I know it opens in Excel, but then what you do with the data after that is pretty cool. So that's why you kept insisting that I add that, don't include the titles and photos.
Yes.
Aren't you glad I listened?
Glad you listened.
So, I'm just going to run it the other way, and you can see kind of the difference.
Yeah, this is the way. This is the way I give it to CPAs with the pretty. See the header, because the header will tell you that this is the trial balance by class. It'll tell you if it's accrual or cash. It'll tell you what day we export it, and it tells you the range. That way you know where these numbers came from. But if you just already know that and you just want to crunch some numbers, then you can just take out those 7 rows. Yeah. Nice.
Well, it's a great way of getting additional information
Right.
at PDX that you didn't really expect.
I guess you could delete it once you got it, but why do that if you're, the whole idea is to get it quick. Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, and I think, I just wonder, I spend a lot of time doing just data analysis. So, I naturally just think in rows and columns, and all that header stuff is fluff that gets in my way.
Yeah, see, I think I'm pretty.
I know, so specifically with, stuff like Power BI or Power Query inside Excel, right?
Mhm.
If you cycle through 5 different files and create them all the same, you can point to a directory and aggregate them.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it depends on how you're using it. Like, I'm going to take the trial balance or the information and give it to another party. When I give it to the other party, they need to have comfort that they know what these numbers are and where they're from and if they're accrual and cash and all that. So my use case is different than analyzing. But
that's why we work so well together, because
yeah.
you have a different way of thinking about stuff, and so we just
Left
add.
brain and right brain going on there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, I was thinking of TBX as a solution to, remember Hector and all the problems that he's had, and I was thinking about what he said, if you can't fix it, you don't own it.
Okay.
And that includes Intuit, who could just turn off your program at any time it feels that you are not in with what they feel, like the marijuana industry or the gun industry. You wake up one day and you just no longer have data.
Well, that's absolutely true, particularly in I know the whole thing you're talking about with them YouTube getting shut off, but I think that's also one of the big differences in the App Store and QVO versus desktop, right? So
Oh, absolutely.
one of my greatest customers in the desktop world, right, is the Teamsters Union. And, you know, they don't want to be out there, you know, exposing their information to court orders and that kind of a thing. So, I mean, as much as, you know, I know Intuit wants to beat the drum all the time online, and I know that they've got some really good business reasons for doing that, specifically because the architecture of QuickBooks Desktop is 32-bit. It's not going to get improved. They're not going to rewrite it because they're rewriting it on the web. And that's really what's at the heart of why they want to press that architecture so much is they've got to get out of this 32-bit architecture. But there's a use case for not having, you know, somebody else own your data.
Well, that's what a colleague of mine says. He doesn't want to have his data held hostage.
Right. Well, my solution is every month you put that put the trial balance, or you put the profit and loss and balance sheet in another place, in another file. So at the end of the year, you've got 12 months. You could go back to desktop and use your TBX program, and all of that information is imported.
Yeah, I just want to cover one more thing on TBX because I hit the wrong button the first time. I don't know if you saw in the background, I reran it again. And these two custom reports are up on the screen now.
Okay.
So that's actually the magic behind the covers is Sarah has created these very unique custom reports. And behind the scenes, we run those reports and glue them together. So like the 12-month report, it'll run this summary report. You can see the classes listed across the top. Yeah. It'll run that for every time period. So that's just a whole lot of work that's being done underneath the covers to understand the right options to run. And then second, to be able to glue them together so that you get that simple little text file in the end.
What? So I envision it, and then Ernest makes the magic.
Made it happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
So this part of the report, you know, does the delta, right? So you can see January through December, right? And then this has got all the class information.
mm-hmm.
And so then gluing those back together in the end is kind of the magic behind the curtains.
So you have people who are trying to do this manually, whether it's for a home office or migration and all that. It's taking them hours to cobble this together. So, you know, your comment about the desktop versus using the programs online and worrying about your data. There's an article this morning about Comcast not spending the money to go into the rural areas. And it's not just rural.
I know, it's a hard word to say.
I don't consider Savannah rural, but Comcast, there's only one small area downtown that does the internet like what Seth has in California.
That's right.
Okay, so we're lucky to have Comcast at all, and we're paying exorbitant prices.
Right.
Okay, and that's all there is. Unless you go DSL and, you know, but so if they're not going to spend the money to go into small town, and this isn't even a small town to me, but, you know, small towns, or especially out here on the islands and stuff like that, sometimes you can't
Ernest,
go.
I'm sorry for a moment. Ernest, do you want to be sharing your screen?
I do. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm going to get somewhere that you'll find very interesting in a minute.
So there's not just protecting your data, but having access to your data. So if it's online, you may not have the internet. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So now what are you doing there, dude?
Where Ernest is, in Boise, they have really strong internet. You start getting over into eastern Idaho, southern Montana, Wyoming. Now, at the top of the chairlift, at the Grand Tetons, You have very fast internet.
That's where I'm going to work.
Wi-Fi is awesome. But at the foot of the chairlift, there's nothing.
Nothing. Now, here's the thing. Intuit is making billions. I mean, with the B, billions.
Got it?
Why isn't it in their best interest to work with the Comcasts of the world to get this internet out? Because, or any SaaS program.
They may get there. Everybody, I mean, Zero's acquiring HubDoc, Intuit's acquiring patents.
I know. So I don't know, maybe they're spread too thin, but until the infrastructure is in this country, their sales will be, stagnant in a lot of areas. So I don't know.
All right, Gina, so I got to the point where I can show you what I was trying to surf around to.
Okay.
All right, so just a little setup while what I was doing behind the scenes. So this directory right here, this is really the TBX Uncovered here. So this directory is where we write the temporary files. So from the point we write those custom reports in QuickBooks, we dump them out right here. The balance sheet in XML, do you see them right here?
Yep.
Mhm.
Balance sheet and trial balance.
Yep.
This Excel spreadsheet that I have right here will actually go read those two XML files. So did you see that, the data that we're looking at here is, a typical sample company. And because it's a typical sample company, their data is in the future.
Yes.
All right, so their data in the future is this data right here.
All right.
So using Power Query, we're able to go read those XML files and parse them out and bring them into the spreadsheet. And I don't know if you saw it behind the scenes while Sarah was talking. All I did was hit the refresh button. And it pulled this information and made it accessible. Because we know how to generate that report and get that information for you.
Nice.
And at this point, obviously, I've got the information in a way that I can pretty much do whatever I want with it. If I have 3 different files that I'm going to put together, I can go put them together and create a graph or whatever I need to do. Because the information is all, basically at my fingertips at this point.
So we need to point out that those files are being generated and they're accessible, because I know the guy I talked to yesterday, he's all into, he's a real big data person.
Yeah.
He would know what to do with them.
Yeah, the average user, right, wants the quick, easy file, but we're doing a lot more behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
This is, like I said, TBX Unplugged.
We need to, we'll do another video with just that. Yeah. Cool.
We might just share Gina's video.
Okay, you can do whatever you want.
Oh, that's great.
That's true.
All righty, well, our time has flown. Is there anything else we want to see, Ernest?
Well, there you go.
Oh, the Bitcoin.
What is Intuit doing out there with the they've got a patent now today. They announced that they've got a patent on micropayments, right? That's really what the article says down here is
Micropayments, like little payments?
a patent which describes a particular method to process Bitcoin payments sent via text message. So I'm just imagining you send a text message bill to a client in the future and they leverage Bitcoin to get payments.
Well, I don't know that that's too far from what PayPal is doing right now.
PayPal does Bitcoin?
Well, no, not Bitcoin, regular money. You can send requests for money from PayPal for any specific amount, and they give you a link, and the last part of the link is / the amount of money you want to receive.
Right. So you see that part of the article, they actually reference that PayPal partnership that they had for quite a while.
The company expanded its partnership with PayPal. Huh. What company? what company expanded? Went Intuit expanded its partnership?
Yeah.
How does Intuit work with PayPal?
Oh, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably why PayPal finally, or they made it so that it's not so hard to reconcile PayPal.
Yeah, they put it.
You're talking about, okay.
Yeah, they got a big effort to clean up the PayPal. You know, for the longest time, I've known people that have, you know, it was right there in San Jose, so I knew people at PayPal, and for the longest time, they want to be the, if you will, the internet bank of choice. And you know, that's really just kind of furthering that message right here.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, that's because banking is where the money is. Yeah.
Does anyone else find it kind of disquieting that we're going to systems that no one really understands? I mean, how do you know if you can get ripped off?
Oh, you know, I tell you what, there is nothing more. I would rather do Bitcoin than a bank.
Because of the blockchain, you mean?
Because of blockchain, yeah, absolutely. You know, blockchain really is such a transformative technology, because instead of one person having kind of ownership of your identity or your finances, now it's, I don't know, people call it democratized, but that might be a little bit of a reach, but you know, to some extent, it's an accurate statement.
Well, I did a speech on that for Toastmasters, and I did a lot of research, and it sounds like you could still have potential fraud, but at least it would get caught a lot faster because it's, you know, you got so many people looking at it.
Right. Absolutely.
But it seemed like it had potential for sort of decimating certain portions of industries, like the audit function. It seems like it could really have major changes in that, rather than having to tick and tie everything.
It'll be a while.
And also
And I'm sure that they're going to come up with uses that we can't even contemplate right now.
Well, they were saying like escrow agents and, you know, possibly mortgage brokers.
real estate transactions and things like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, when think about it, we would have to have all of our accounts receivable and payables running through blockchains. All. So where are we in that lineup?
Right,
So,
right.
Well, I guess another impact is it really consumes a lot of power, like electrical power.
oh, really?
That's what I've heard.
Well, I mean, I think that there's, you know, so I think what you're referring to is because of the farming nature of it and that type of thing.
Well, I just didn't get the specific. I just heard that it does require a lot of use up a lot of electricity. Yeah. So that could be a constraint.
There's the thought that we have to wait till the equipment is better able to handle that kind of
And
processing.
everybody gets internet, because right now Comcast gets done.
Well, I mean, the internet's
So many things but you know what? It's still going 100 miles an hour, and at some point, it's going to go even faster. So as these little pain points are solved,
And
But I
again,
mean, it kind of further divides red and blue America, right? Because it's primarily blue America that has the high speed, and you know, the rural areas don't really have high speed internet, do they? Or even internet connectivity in some cases.
or even, you know,
right.
it's really poor in a city of my size, 400,000.
I mean, in Seattle, it's pretty good because of, Amazon and Microsoft and, Starbucks.
Well, I'm sure that they'll love it. That would really be great for them.
For who?
Amazon and Microsoft.
Yeah. Yeah, Amazon just been buildings like crazy up here in Seattle.
I bet.
I mean, it's like a second downtown. It's sprouted up in the last 15 years. From
And
when
did
I
you
worked
read? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Was it Microsoft or Amazon? One of them did an experiment where they did the satellite health clinic, and it was so successful they're actually bringing it in-house. They're going to have their own doctors on staff. There'll be primary doctors for their employees. And I think there's one other, I think maybe Apple that's doing it too. So
That
Of
sounds
course.
more like something Amazon would do rather than Microsoft. Microsoft's kind
Yeah.
of stodgy.
Yeah, stodgy. But now, of course, how many friends do we have that actually works for corporations of that size?
Right.
This
Right.
2/3 of this country is employed by small businesses, but
Right.
it's an
Exactly.
interesting trend where big corporations can,
Do that kind of thing, right? No.
do it better and do it better. Yep.
All right, guys, we're going to end the show for today.
Sounds good.
We will see you all same time, same place next week.
Have a nice weekend.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.